Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I'm your host, Xavier, and on this week's episode, we are grabbing our racing wheels, getting into the driver's seat, and going right into Gran Turismo. I'm actually really excited about this week's episode because on our general Popcorn Watchlist panel, we have a couple racing enthusiasts here who can really kind of inject some real-world knowledge and tie in some of their video game history when it comes to racing, alongside our love for films and especially racing movies in general. So before we get right into Gran Turismo, let me go ahead and do our roundtable introduction of our Popcorn Watchlist panel. We have Anthony.
Hello.
We have Danny back from his great little trip to Italy to a Formula One show, or race. I just said show. Yeah. It's not a performance, or is it? Depending on who you're watching. No. But yeah, welcome back, Danny.
What's up?
And we have our resident actual go-kart racer, Zach.
What's up, everyone?
Don't be embarrassed. You're actually decent.
Stop! You're embarrassing me, Dad. Gosh,
I'm so proud of my son. He got third. He finished podium.
My bag.
But he didn't get any champagne because he's 12. Anyway, I'm really excited. I'm sure you all are excited to listen to our thoughts on Gran Turismo. We'll kind of go through just the basics of the film, some tie-ins to the actual game itself, and on top of that, we want to go ahead and talk about our experience with the various film formats. We got to see it in Dolby, and also some of us got to see it in 4DX, and kind of really talk about the real-world racing that it's based off of, since it is based on a true story. So going right into it, we have Gran Turismo originally was going to be directed by Joseph Kosinski of Tron and Top Gun Maverick fame. But it ended up, I forgot to a whole bunch of kind of dropping out, some other stuff that ended up going to the one and only Neil Blomkamp. Anthony and I think all of us have here, we all seen District 9?
not Zach.
No, not Zach. All right,
so
cool.
three of us. Yeah.
Three of us have seen District 9. You ever saw Elysium?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure you didn't watch Chappie.
That was another one that I wanted to see, Elysium.
It's cool. I like the premise.
Chappie, no.
With who?
Yeah, Chappie's kind of interesting, but I liked it personally because
Who's in Elysium?
Matt Damon.
There you go.
Sorry, I just have to have an excuse to say Matt Damon.
I tossed it up.
So directed by Neil Blomkamp, it stars. I'm actually gonna give him top billing, but it's Archie Madekwe as Jan Mardenborough playing, the fictionalized version of the real life racer. You have Orlando Bloom playing Danny Moore, who they changed his name. I forget the actual person's name. Zach will back me up in a little bit. Then you have David Harbour as Jack Salter. What's really cool is that you have this actor from Japan, Takahiro Hira. He plays Kazunori Yamauchi, who's the movie's credited as the creator of Gran Turismo. He's been in a couple good international and cross-pond Japanese British shows. And then you also have Jimon Hansu, who plays Steve Mardenborough, Jan's dad. And you also have credited on IMDb as Jerry Horner, but in the movie is Jerry Halliwell Horner, who plays Jan's mom, Leslie. If you don't know who Jerry Halliwell is, go back to the 90s and listen to some Spice Girls. That is the former Ginger Spice. Which, fun trivia, why her last name is now Horner. Why, Zach?
Because she is married to the team principal of the Red Bull Racing Formula One team, Christian Horner.
Oh.
That's a winner right there. That team does not stop winning. As a random side note,
Team doesn't winning. Christian Horner doesn't stop winning.
Yeah, that's just
In life.
He just wins at life. He's just out here winning at life.
I mean, they're married. They have kids. I mean, they've been together for a while.
Yeah, been a hot minute there.
Winner.
And then randomly, I forgot the kid who plays who's on the Team Kappa, but Thomas Kreichman was randomly there for a couple scenes. He's really good. I remember him from oh man, he was in that really scary scene in King Kong with the worms that Anthony really hates.
Oh.
Yeah. He's just immediately oh god. But anyway, back to the racing. He's just gonna be stuck on warps. Yeah, the movie came out. I mean, there are quite a few like early screening accesses for it, but it officially debuted on August 25th. So far, as of this recording, it's made about $80 million to a $60 million budget. So, saying personally, a little lower than what I expected, considering it's what our takes on the movie are. I think if it being like a kind of sports movie, it does a lot of really good stuff. Right? We'll get into it a little bit later, but hopefully it's still got some wheels. I'm not going to say legs, but hopefully it's got some wheels coming into the fall. Maybe if people are still out there, I gotta watch something. Hey, watch a feel-good sports movie that's randomly based on a video game. Speaking of video games, I'm pretty sure Anthony has, but I'm not sure about Danny. But who here has actually played any Gran Turismo? Like any Gran Turismo? It doesn't have to be like the original.
I think we all have.
I played a little bit of the older ones. I think after 4 is when I kind of just stopped playing them. They're not really my type of game, but I have played them before. So it's probably your wheelhouse.
Well, no, not even me, because I've only ever played Gran Turismo Sport and Gran Turismo 7, which is the most recent one.
Okay.
Well, both of them are the most recent ones. I've never played Gran Turismo growing up, but even with the little that I've played with these two games, I mean, I have my opinions. I've told you guys my opinions outside of
What are those? If we're talking about Gran Turismo,
my opinion is that Forza's better.
That's why we were talking about when we saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have a Forza reference, and Zach was like giddy, just like Donatello likes Forza.
Oh my God, he said Forza.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
That's how he learned how to drive.
Exactly, but it's pretty much I played a lot of Forza. But Danny, I don't know if it's a similar story to Zach or.
So for me, I haven't played the newer ones, but I don't know if Zach, if you remember, but back in the day, I had on my PlayStation 2, I had Gran Turismo 3.
I don't.
Nice.
Remember
That's the one I remember playing the most.
A-Spec.
Yeah, that's the one I remember playing the most.
And that one, that's the only one I've played.
I don't remember. Ever, because I mean we played a lot of PS2 games.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
How old is that game? Because that game was
I don't
pretty
remember that.
old.
I mean, because you and I growing up, we played a lot of.
That might have been like 2003 or
like
something.
Spy Hunter.
But
and
this one came out 2001.
That was and it was for PS2.
Yeah.
That I don't remember. No.
But yeah, it's the only one I remember, and I had a lot of fun with it, but haven't played any of the new ones.
Yeah, I kind of, with all the hype around like Sport being like a preview for 7 and then 7 actually coming out, I thought maybe I should give it a try, but I never got around to it. But I remember playing a lot of Gran Turismo 2 because my cousin had a PS1. Whenever I'd visit Puerto Rico, I'd have Gran Turismo, and all those license tests were hella hard. And then Gran Turismo 3, I had a PS2 so I could play a little bit more, but it was still insanely hard. But it was truly like they talk about the real racing simulator. It's like, okay, yeah, like this is legit. Like my high school self, late middle school into high school is like, yeah, this is real. Like this isn't a joke. So I kind of the same thing. Like I see people who are actually really good at this game, and I'm hella impressed. Like I have to give that up to them. And most racing simulators in general. So it's tough.
I wouldn't say the Gran Turismo
Here we go.
is the real racing simulator.
That's what's on the box. Are you calling the box
because any company is gonna try to hype up their game as like, oh yeah, this is the realest game you're gonna get. No, there are better simulators out there, whether it's a video game or simulators that are developed by racing teams that use them. For whatever racing series, and F1 has their simulators. I'm sure those are a million times better than.
But are they commercial? Are they commercial?
Yeah, like more for like the.
Okay, well then
I would say when it comes to racing simulators, the better ones might be iRacing or like Assetto Corsa, like the ones that you can buy off of Steam or iRacing is like a subscription based one that's online or like it's like I don't know if it's like a browser based one. Like you go to a website, you log in and all that stuff.
It's semi-cloud based. I thought it was cloud based or something. Because if you have all like your actual gear, it's funny because in the movie you see Jan getting a new racing steering wheel to pop into his system and like his whole setup. And And surprisingly, he has a pretty decent monitor too. But like, yeah, the way the movie production stuff popped in place, and he's out there already racing. But
I guess for like more widely available for the common person.
Yep.
I feel like this is probably one of the bigger like.
I think globally, Gran
franchises that
Turismo is
people
getting
know.
more popular too, right?
Yeah. So I watch a lot of Top Gear. They always reference PlayStation and Gran Turismo. They never say Xbox and Forza.
Yeah, because PlayStation outsold Xboxes by a wide margin in the UK specifically, ever since PS3 and yeah, PS3. Even though like Xbox 360 was big in the US, PS3. We went into gaming history here a little bit, but because of that, over on the other side of the pond in Europe, like PlayStation and Sony, like was just locked into place.
Well, there was a Top Gear episode where Jeremy Clarkson, one of the hosts, he tries to race like a Honda NSX, like the one from like the early 2000s, I think, around the Raceway Laguna Seca. On the video game, he does it like it's like a whole like short film or a segment of the episode where he plays it on the thing on the PlayStation, and then he actually goes to the track and races that same car on the track.
He played it through with a controller, right? Not on like a
he used a
setup?
controller in this case. So he was like, can I race this car? Just like on the game on the track. I don't know, whatever the skit was or whatever the segment was. He was gonna translate that into
like,
driving the actual car. Yeah,
and that
would be cool to try though.
And
to actually like play it and then actually get to drive the car on the track.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Maybe one day I can achieve that dream.
Just like Anthony said, that's just like the movie. So basically, the whole thing that comes into the movie is that Danny Moore, it's the fictionalized version of real life Nissan exec Danny Cox, he goes
Nissan.
Nissan.
It's for Nissan, like Nissan, but or Datsun. No, it should just be a Datsun. Anyway, but Nissan.
Datsun here.
Datsun. No, it's Datsun. But it's cool that he goes in and basically pitches this idea of like, hey, everybody plays Gran Turismo, and we should host a big marketing
80 million.
Yeah, 80 million players. Let's get everybody into Skyline GTRs and get them in a racing academy, and then let's just pop up everything because nobody likes Nissan cars anymore, or like cars in general. Like no one wants to like have that thrill and adventure of driving, which I kind of, the way the message was brought out, I personally kind of agreed with. I was like, yeah, like where's like it's like I think it's maybe slowly coming back.
Like car culture is.
Yeah, car culture has gotten to something completely different. It's more like you see a whole bunch of trucks now, but.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, right? It's really, it's hard to get like a sports car. Like no one wants a sports sedan anymore.
Yeah, because they cost like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and people don't want to spend that much on a...
Yeah, like on a sports car, like might as well just get something a little more, practical.
A Nissan, the GTR, the R35, right? I mean, they cost upwards of like $80,000, $90,000 base. And if you want to add whatever other... optional extras and make it whatever, it's going to cost you well over $100,000, $110,000, $15,000.
And that's not even including this
Nissan GTR.
And then if you want just like your normal consumer like two-door sports car, you have a Nissan Z, which is like fun but also extremely hard to find because it's like, I can't afford a GTR. Let me try to get this instead.
I mean, for that, just buy a used one and have it shipped across the world.
Just buy a Mustang
from Japan.
Yeah,
buy a Mustang.
Now the Mustangs are independent rear suspension. They actually can take corners.
And the insurance is a little bit cheaper because it's technically a 4-seater, not a 2-seater.
Not a 2-seater. Yep.
So you save money on insurance, I guess.
Look at Zach being an adult.
It's still like $40,000, I think.
Look at Zach being an adult here.
But I mean, the insurance is cheaper because it's still technically a 4-seater.
All right, let's get back to literally on track. The literal track. So with this whole idea, Danny Moore, played by Orlando Bloom, gets the green light. Haha, I'm stuck with all these puns all day. He gets the green light and has to get a coach to lead and get basically somebody who's only a sim driver in a video game to have to coach them to be a real driver. And he ends up getting Jack Salter, played by David Harbour. And David Harbour, the moment he's on screen, man, that dude knew the assignment. That dude came to play. All his scenes are great. Like, he knew how to do the inspirational talk, how to be the sardonic, coach that has a heart of gold in the long run. He did everything great. Like, I would love to hopefully post strike if you get, other talks about how things went with, the filming process of this. Like, just, I'd love to get his mindset on it. It's like, or whether if it's like, oh, that was easy. It's just simple stuff you find in sports movies, or like what kind of inspirations that he may have gotten from his end, maybe as like any type of mentor figure he has had in the past, or maybe he's one now. I don't know. I'm just being a nerd about it, but I thought it would be pretty cool. But from there, the invite goes out worldwide, and then we get little Jan Martinborough, who's just a pro at probably the best European player of Gran Turismo, and he gets the AOK to go through, qualifies, gets to the Nissan GT Academy, and through everything becomes a real boy racer. So, he experiences what it really is like behind the wheel of an actual car, and not just the digital racing wheel with actual feedback and G-forces and everything like that. So we get your standard sports movie, but just, I think, executed well with the little flares and touches of the video game itself. They've also remembered it's a video game, so they had to tie in a lot of that stuff there too.
Yeah, all the little sounds and or like some sequences where they show like him actually racing at home. I think the opening sequence was just like an anticlimactic, just like staring at him.
Yeah,
racing.
It's just like, oh, I'm here now. And it's just like he's not doing, but like you see like the acting's still there, where he's just like really reading the lines, really doing his thing. So,
or he's doing like open mic chat with his friends while
he's just
driving.
like, you're trash. Well, I'm wasting time just even playing right now, but sure, let's do it. But with that, like, it's a really fun ride of a movie. And speaking of fun rides, I think Zach, Anthony, and I, we got the chance to watch this in 4DX.
Yes, we did.
So coming from Ford v Ferrari, Anthony, how did this compare in 4DX?
This was definitely, I think we all mentioned it. It was pretty aggressive.
Aggressive.
Yeah. So Ford v Ferrari.
It's spirited, if you're gonna be nice about it.
Ford v Ferrari was the first movie I saw in 4DX, and that was a few years ago, probably when 4DX was starting
That was like,
out
what, 2019?
with more popular Hollywood movies. So it was more like gradual movements, a little bit of like the vibration when like they were in the car, with a lot of like the airflow during all the car scenes. So it was cool when I saw Ford v Ferrari like that. But yeah, this one, even when they weren't in the action scenes, just any sort of scene where, like even earlier in the movie, when they're in the car trying to like escape the cops, like that's not even that like high of an intense scene, but the seats were bouncing all around and going pretty crazy, and I think we all got poked in the back a couple of times.
We got poked in the back.
So that's a 4DX staple.
I personally thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was
to do 4DX. Like Anthony's saying aggressive. I think it was spirited. Like if you're like in a really fast car, but like you kind of know what's going on, like, or you know how to maneuver it. I think it was a lot of fun. Like it was. I never felt like it was oppressive or anything like that. Like it just felt like a good time. I think I was next to Zach, and we're just like, okay, like there's certain points or certain turns, and we're just like, really, like we're going this way, but like it was a fun.
Oh,
surprise.
like it turned the other way.
It was like it shook to one side, so it gave you the sensation that you're turning, and we're like, wait, what? Like it felt it and that plus with the rumble in the back, like really kind of got you through it. Like in the sequences in the training academy when like Jan is like initially struggling with the car and like hits the barrels, I was like, and like it gave a big jolt. I was like, oh, okay. Like this is kind of cool. During like one crash where like the whole drama of like did Jan hit the brakes and he hit the brakes and Jack's in the car with him and he's yelling at him, like that I think was one of the poke in the back moments. just like whoa, and then but like it was, again, like it adds.
You had to have been holding on. If you weren't holding on, you might have gotten knocked out of your chair.
I was.
It was like a theme park ride.
Yeah,
I was
there were
kinda
moments where
comfortable though. Like I was comfortable, even though like
but
had
you were
to be
holding
in
on
there.
though.
Oh yeah, I was.
Yeah,
but like
there were moments where
that's
I
the fun of it.
There's a lot of moments that it would just like randomly like jerk forward, and like if you're not holding on, like
or just like
Like a
violently
car,
jump
you know?
up and down, and you're kind of almost
Sliding
jumping out of your
off.
seat.
yeah,
I mean, I caught myself having to grab on a few times because it was just moving so much. In contrast to Top Gun Maverick, when we saw it,
Yeah, the last one we
year,
saw in 40X was Top Gun.
which was a little bit smoother in parts that you would think would be kind of intense. But it never got it for Top Gun. It never got as bad as how it got for when we saw Gran Turismo.
Bad or
He says
good?
bad.
Okay, not as intense. Not as intense.
There you go. Like I agree with that. It's
yeah.
intense.
I still feel
It's
like
good intention.
Top Gun had the overall better experience with how it matched with the movie.
Yeah.
Because since they're in the jets, like you felt more of the like individual moments when like they were going left and right. There was way more of the like wind in your face as if you're in the plane with them. With the vibration as if you're in the cockpit versus just random like like jerking back and forth because of the car braking or the car accelerating and doing quick turns. So yeah, this was fun, but I still think Top Gun did it better.
I think it lends to a
but-
better experience.
Yeah.
You know, flying is cooler than driving, obviously. That's what this says. But who knows? But I think, Danny, you got a chance with also to see it in Dolby. I think personally, like if you're gonna just watch it for like just a sit down film experience, Dolby is probably better because of the sound,
The audio.
and the visual quality. But what'd you get out of it in terms of like the audio feel from Dolby?
I think like just the audio of the cars and like the racing scenes, I thought they were like really good. I mean, I don't know if it's an exact sound of that car, but it sounded
I'm
great.
sure they did.
Zach, were they exact sounds from the kind of like
Or
prototype
close enough,
cars?
yeah.
Negative.
Yeah, because one car, obviously, like the team Nissan was a GTR, but there were a couple others that I
Did
could
they have
not.
like the gold Lamborghini?
Yeah, I was just like, why is there a gold Lamborghini up in here? That was Team Kappa,
Yeah.
and then what was the other German guy, or was he Austrian or German? Like he had, there was also a Ford GT that he was like, oh, smoke. I think towards like one of the races, like he told him like, oh yeah, smoke that GT. Like that guy's nothing. And I think there was definitely a Ford GT there.
Yeah, that might have been like the Austrian race. It was like some ways into the movie. I don't remember.
Well, speaking of the races in the movie, I thought what was really cool was the race to finally qualify to see who was going to be driving for Team Nissan. Like that race was actually done really well. Like, it's interesting because even in the games, like you have it's not just like, you know, your arcade racer is like, oh, you have 3 laps. It's like, no, you have 6, you have 8 laps, 12 laps even. And the way the races were shot to then like progress through that, it was easy to follow, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like, and also the graphics that showed up on like, hey,
On
Jan's in this
screen.
place, this here, the pause race, like, hey, he's here.
And then
He needs this
they would show like the arrows of the path that
Yeah.
they're trying to follow.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
in the
same
game,
path
like
in the
the-
game, yeah.
The racing.
And then they also had like some of these like drone shots that were pretty cool.
Hey,
like,
the
Amber
drone-
lamps, the amber lamps,
The drone shots that actually work, unlike
Like it
Amber
should
lamps.
be.
because
Yeah.
they weren't milliseconds long. Like they actually
And
took
just-
the time to show like a 5-second drone shot.
I think there was one where it's like, I think it's in the trailer too. They go under the bull,
Uh-huh.
in the Red
you know,
Bull race.
Yeah, it's like they follow the car for a good amount of
Like
time.
they follow the cars going, like the cars are going forward, but the drone is going
Again,
past
like,
them
yeah.
the opposite way, and then it turns around. And then there was also one really cool shot where it goes and shows along like all the audience
Yeah.
that's like cheering for the race to start. So yeah, they had some really cool and effective.
Yeah,
Effective shots.
Yeah, practical, effective, not this weird, I'm going to go up and down a building. Oh my God.
And then before we move on, in regards to 4DX, you guys actually saw it on National Cinema Day.
Oh yeah,
$4.
$4 instead of 25.
So
Easy
it was,
money.
and I think last year for National Cinema Day, which was the first time they did it, I think that's around the time we saw Top Gun. I don't know if we saw Top Gun in 4DX,
No,
but
we saw Top Gun.
We saw Top
You
Gun
could have
4DX,
seen it.
like it.
Yeah.
We saw
like
it.
the second or third week it was.
Yeah,
out.
and we saw we paid the real money for it,
Yeah.
but obviously it was worth
oh,
it.
I think you saw Spider-Man.
Yes, that's when they re-released No Way Home.
Yeah.
So I went and saw it. So far.
So definitely take advantage. Hopefully next year they do it and get your $4 movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a big movie around that time.
Spend a day at the
So is it
cinema.
August something? The end of August?
It's always the end of August, yeah.
Because that's not a bad deal. $4 for 4DX.
No, dude, you can probably spend the entire day like 40x and then go
Yeah.
watch another thing, and then you save the money so you can go eat something and then come back. And, it's not like you're stuck in there. So, yeah, man. But I think overall, like I think I said it before, like, what'd you guys think about the movie in the long run? In a
Very
full
good
circle.
addition to the racing, like actual racing.
Sports racing
Sports racing,
genre.
yeah.
It's the subgenre of sports movies being racing
Non-fictional.
films.
Yeah.
Non-fictional.
Non-fictional.
We have our fictional ones that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen, but I know like Driven. I think is one of them, right?
Yep.
But it's still on?
Yeah.
And was
No,
this
with Ryan Gosling.
No,
No,
that's
that's
Drive.
Drive.
And that's not a
Gotcha.
racing movie.
no.
That's not
I was
a
like,
racing
wait.
Yeah.
Driven I haven't seen, and it's one of those
Baby
few fictional racing movies, I guess.
Yeah, we're talking about Driven
Like, in
from
terms of
2001.
non-fictional,
Need for Speed.
it's definitely
Yeah,
up there.
Need for
Ooh,
Speed
Need
is
for
technically
Fictional.
one with Oscar winner Rami Malek.
Mhm, yeah,
Yeah.
Aaron Paul.
and
Aaron Paul
and Michael Keaton.
and Michael Keaton. Yeah. Also,
Rush is a good one. Very
Rush,
good one.
but it's based off of a true story, so
That's
it's
true.
technically non-fiction. Official. What's this? Other.
But we mentioned
movie?
before Ford versus Ferrari.
Mhm.
I'm missing one big one. It is called Days of Thunder. That's technically like a. Yeah, that technically counts. It's your boy Tom Cruise coming right back. And then also Talladega Nights.
I was just gonna say it.
The greatest one.
Of Ricky Bobby.
That's one of Nolan's favorite movies.
That's literally one of Nolan's favorite movies. He says if that movie's on, I have to kind of go ahead and rewatch it. That's-
Shake and bake.
Yeah, like that's freaking funny. Like I still find that freaking hilarious. That he's a guy. I mean, could you imagine Nolan take as a side note? Could you imagine Nolan's take on a comedy movie? I kind of want to see it happen.
That,
now.
I mean,
He could write. Imagine him writing for comedy. He could probably just be like, "No, I can't do that," and then watch he.
There's
he
no
goes and
limit
does it.
to it.
There's no
Dude.
limit. The limit does not exist.
maybe he'll hire Will Ferrell for one of his movies.
I think now with that being in place, that can probably happen for sure. But yeah, Anthony mentioned it. A couple fun moments is where they sneak off to hang out and they take his dad's car. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that whole escaping from the police. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, they went out to hang out with some friends of his brother. They just like went out drinking. I guess they're all still kind of underage. So then some cops came up and they had to break up the party, and then yeah, they got caught eating mayonnaise during their drive. They were,
Yeah.
what was it? Weren't they trying to like?
No, somebody was like
they-
passing a beer.
Oh yeah, they were asking the driver next to them and on the street like to pass them a beer.
Yeah, 'cause they're
and they
from
were
the same
doing
party.
it. It's like wow, I've never.
Yeah, it's the same party.
No,
Like,
I think it was just random people.
No, I didn't know that was
No, I
part
think
of
they were all
they were
from
all
the-
from the
Oh
same
really?
party.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a random.
No, dude, it's the same.
A random-
I actually thought the same thing
random
too. I
bloke
thought
on the
some
street.
random
No.
guys that they just were.
Nah, man, it's definitely was like the same party people. They're like party people, and then they hit
Tag
them
team.
with the.
Back again.
And then the cop said, "Whoop, there it is," and they had to stop him. But Yan said, "No, I can't go
He's
to
like,
jail."
no, I'm a good driver. He was like, I need to make that race tomorrow. So
Yeah.
The race being the virtual race to
Yeah.
qualify for
He-
the GT.
he baby drivered his way back home, and they're like, yeah, we didn't get arrested. And then
Dad was
Jaman Hansu's like giving him the death stare. Like, what did you do to this car?
Why don't you like?
And he's telling his brother, "It's like I'll take the blame, or tell me I'm the better racing, or I'm the better driver, and I'll take the blame."
Yeah, he's like, "Say I'm the better driver. I'll take the limit." Like, what? It's like, "Say I'm the better driver," and then immediately cuts to him like working menial,
He's like, "All right, you're the better
train work with his dad,
His dad was like, you will be a racer, but not today.
but not yet.
But not yet.
I don't
No.
know. I keep saying not today. That's another movie.
That's
right?
another one.
but not yet.
today.
What's really funny is that, like, the whole time Yan's like, oh, why don't you just take up soccer? We're gonna play around, kick the ball around. He's like, no, I
Nope.
gotta play GT, man. GT's my life. And he's like, you're going nowhere with this. And then he finally qualifies. It's like,
Is it bone soccer?
yeah.
You're going nowhere.
then he gets in the race with like no shoes on, and he finally makes it.
He takes them off.
He
when
takes
gets
off his
there.
shoes. He's like, oh man, and then
Which
like,
is better for the feel.
yeah, it actually is.
Pedals.
That's how I learned stick when I initially drove the car, and I had my Mustang in
Want to feel
stick.
the clutch bite.
Yeah, I had to feel it. Pure barefoot, no socks. It was
Not
really
even
fun.
Not even socks.
Not even socks. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, okay, I gotta feel this out. I took it really literally. I'm sorry, but yeah, that sequence was fun. Him beating and getting into the qualifier, and then we get to the. I like the whole. It's like not even a training montage. It's like a good chunk of a decent chunk of the movie, like in the training academy.
Yeah,
And they're
it's like
just-
the first
I like to pass
30
some
minutes.
time, but
First
Yeah.
30 minutes of the movie is like the introduction of the characters, and then him going through the academy.
I like the initial conflict, like after the main race, where Jan beats Maddie by just like a hair, and and Danny's looking at him, he's like, "Are you sure it's this person we want? Like, he's not that good on the on the microphone, in front of the cameras. He has to represent." He's just like,
And David Harbour's like, but he won.
He
Like,
won,
It doesn't
dude.
matter. He's the one that won.
yeah, he's like, he won. He's like, all right. It's cool. Like, and then also, oh man, after I really liked Jack's introduction where he's just listening to an old Sony Walkman. Of course, it had to be a Sony, but yeah, old Sony Walkman, and he's listening to Black Sabbath,
Oh yeah.
which is pretty awesome.
The music
old school
selection in
metal.
this movie was cool too.
Yeah, and even the score. The score is really good too.
Enya,
yeah,
you got Enya.
you got that's the score. But the actual licensed music, you have Kenny G, you have Enya. The moment I heard
those moments are hilarious.
the moment I heard Orinoco Flow, I start cracking up in theater, and people are just like, huh? Like kind of like, this is a weird song. I was like, no, the song's hilarious. Pure Moods, Volume 2. Like, it's the only reason why I know it. And
it's
good.
Lauren Balfe did the
dude,
score.
he's good.
He's,
That boy good.
Zimmer disciple.
Yep, he's of the Hans Zimmer school of epic music. Danny, any favorite parts that you had?
Well, I think one thing that was cool about this movie is there's so many tracks that they kind of went through, whether it was like in some of those like cuts, like through the training academy, or like later on once
he's
he's gone
actually
through
trying to
some-
get
the
his
academy
license.
was just one track
Yeah,
the
yeah.
entire time.
Yeah,
But
when
but
he's trying to get
So
his
yeah,
license.
then it was like the 4 or 5 races.
Yeah,
4 or
I
5
five races and then
like the DNF that he had
yeah.
was rough,
For- I mean,
weird.
You had a problem with.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
The settings.
We'll get into that like in a later.
Get
Oh,
into
no,
it
we'll get
now.
to a second.
Get into it
Yeah.
now.
No, because I have a few things, but we'll get into that later.
Ooh.
But I liked seeing all the different tracks and like all the different, I guess, angles that they kind of could get away with, and like making it seem like
Yeah, for
They're
a
all over the
cinematic,
world and-
storytelling piece. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
because like they, let's say for like one part of the track or like one track that they're on for the story, I mean, it could kind of get repetitive if it's just the same track, but
Of course,
they
yeah.
kind of made it very
You're
like
globetrotting.
yeah.
You got to go around, and
So-
there's big money in these races, so you gotta
and then
show
get
off
these
the-
big moments and these different turns and
Yep, the close calls and the big crashes. A couple of big crashes. I'm just like, how are people not dead? But
that's
Zach explained
safety.
I guess.
these cars.
Yeah, that Lambo. When the captain
Oh,
driving
yeah,
the
that
Lambo,
was
like
a
I was like,
rough
yo, he's dead. And he gets out, he's like, nah, I'm okay, I'm mad.
That
It's
was a
like-
rough one.
I was like, dude, you're dead. What do you like? You have an hour
This-
body experience. You're dead.
This movie definitely had like a good amount of like ups and downs, like a good balance of it. I feel like
Yeah.
leading up to the end of the movie, which obviously it doesn't happen that way in real life, which Zach will get to,
Correct.
because we have a different order here. But
Yeah, because
yeah.
there's the
Definitely,
big crash.
movie wise, like that, or story wise in
Yeah.
the movie,
It works.
I thought it was a
It
good
works,
balance.
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it works for the story you're trying to tell because it's based on a true story. It's not. This is the true story.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they in huge titles in the story, like everywhere you see like the
Well,
trailers, it
there-
just says based on.
I think it's marketed in a lot of regions as Gran Turismo
Based on
on the
colon
yeah,
based on a true story.
like that's part of the title.
It gets, like it's the subtitle
Let that repeat.
in a lot of
Yeah.
markets,
Live that repeat.
which is strange, but
Yeah.
I mean, you got to market it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I liked the scene of his big accident. Like it works well with what Danny was saying with like within the movie, because then it's like the second act of the movie where he's contemplating of quitting because he straight up just killed someone and
Well, not him straight up, but like his crash ended up killing someone.
yeah, but the whole reason of him feeling terrible is because it's like I
like, oh,
did it,
'cause they- oh,
like I drove
it
the
happened to
car,
me.
I
Yeah,
did
it
it.
happened
like,
to me,
oh,
and I guess
because
it's my fault.
yeah, because what's his name, Jack,
Mhm.
saying like it wasn't your fault. Like it happens to everyone. It's like, oh, but it happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened to me. Like, and you can tell it's just like he's in shock. I was like, oh man, it's like yo, someone died. I like how Danny was immediately just like, damn, we're gonna do an investigation. I was like, oh, you're talking about that now, buddy? Like,
Yeah.
like Jack really was the real one here in the movie. Like he got him through everything. Like once he finally qualified, when was it in Dubai, where he
It was the
is it
Dubai race.
the Dubai race where he finally qualified. I actually like that moment a lot too, because that's the time where like random like spectators recognized him, like, hey, you were that racer like over here, like, oh my god, can we get a selfie? This is like, you're
He's
living
like,
the life,
sure.
kid. Like, good job. Like you're in the race world now. It was
But-
really cool. Like it kind of like his whole like, I'm really in the race, and like before his crash, like he was in the zone. Like it was cool to see him like in that zone, just really plowing through everybody. So that was it's cool to see, and it's like good character development. And then finally we get to the final of Le Mans, which is really cool, because then they brought back two other racers from the academy. They brought back Maddie.
Yeah,
just,
like his team.
and like you saw how Maddie was just like, I'm best racer. Now like he goes back and sees Jan has improving his like hella respect. I was like, that's like that feel good sports time that
Yeah.
kind of, you know, that you get and you want to get from these movies. Is really cool to see that. And the whole big play is just like, we gotta shoot for a podium at Le Mans in order to make this happen. And you know, that's where all the nail biting and the thrills and is he going to overcome his past trauma, all that happens throughout the movies. It's done again, like you know the ups and downs, like you know the pattern, but it's done really well. Like I think it was still done quite well. Everybody else agree, disagree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they wanted to, they could have easily taken out the whole like side story with him and his girlfriend.
Yeah, but
And-
he's human. He's got to have that, like.
No, I
hey,
know, but if they
I want
took
to
all
go to
that out,
Tokyo. Hey, girl, let's go to Tokyo. Bam! He paid for her first class.
if all that got taken out, the movie would have been like an hour 40, and it would have been very tight. but-
tight turn corner. That's a lean racing movie.
Yeah.
40.
Yeah, and it would have been.
I mean, I think
I
the
don't
movie
think-
should have been longer than what
It
we
could have
You
been
wanted
longer
it
too.
to be longer? Yeah.
Should've been longer.
Yeah,
It
because
was
there
a
was
longer.
like the montages. They showed like they went quickly through a lot of the races.
Yeah, that was like one of my complaints about the movie, is that they went through those montages a little too. I mean, yeah, it's called a montage for a reason, but they could have fleshed out some of those out a little bit more. But
A little extra
Maybe.
5 seconds of, hey, I think I got this, and then nope, you don't. You finished 16th, like, or like, you know, whatever it was. Like, oh, hey, I did this, and then DNF'd. Like, you know, show him just like he's not having a great time, but like I think it still was effective given what we got.
maybe
we're being nice,
we'll
but,
get
like, I
a
think-
director's cut where they have a few more, like maybe
I'm
a
sure
few
they
more
have
minutes
more
of each scene.
more scenes.
I think
yeah.
they have more scenes of them clubbing in Japan with Pepas playing.
No, it's no. They have more scenes of telling Jan, this champagne is for podium.
There you go.
It's like this one, no, champagne's for podium. This, nope, champagne's for
Here,
podium.
drink a beer.
Yeah, I also like touch moment of writing. I like that he like was supposed to give him the gift of the
The
CD player?
upgraded
of the
Sony.
upgraded Walkman. Yeah, the MP3 player.
Do they still make those, like in real life?
Yeah.
Do they still make
Yeah.
those?
And then he played his 2 calm down songs when he's like having his like panic attack like, on the
Yeah,
on the
that was
course.
good. And he
That
was
was
like,
really fun.
he's like, "Oh, you're mad?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like,
Good.
"Good."
Get there, like come on,
Get angry
dude.
and win this race.
Get through this race. That was really cool. And why is it that in every movie when they show there's like is it recorded? I have to ask Zach this, but in every Le Mans race, does it always rain?
Yeah.
Does it always rain?
Does it
Not
always rain in every 24
In
hours?
all
Because
movies
every
that
movie Le
depict,
Mans race it rains.
Le Mans,
I don't-
yes.
And
I mean, definitely not. I'm sure there have been completely dry races, but I don't know.
I mean,
Don't have the race
24
during
hours.
rainy season.
I don't know if the race at the movie showcase, if it actually rained or not, but
I'm sure it did.
it could have, or maybe they decided to throw in there for a little
Dramatic
spice things up.
I
a little
mean,
bit,
there's
guess.
more chance of
Add some drama.
some rain in 24 hours than like a normal.
And it's in the middle of
2
summer.
hour
This is
race.
like the second weekend or third weekend of June usually.
Yeah.
So it's
So like Miami.
so I'm sure there might have been some like summer rain in there or something. But.
Dude, there's an article from 2011. It's like it always rains at Le Mans, right? Like, but I think this is because they're playing Gran Turismo online. This is great. It all comes full circle. I'm trying to think of any other moment. Oh, I like the moment where they go to. He actually does his official signing, and he meets the creator of
that
Gran
was very
Turismo,
cool.
and he was just like,
It's like
"Damn."
fangirling about it too.
Yeah,
It's like,
he's all freaking out. He's just,
It's like,
and the
created my
creator's
favorite
like,
game.
and the creator's like, this is happening. Wow, like, very cool. Like, this is cool. Like, holy crap! I thought it was like maybe that's where I think if you wanted to pad the movie a little bit more, they could have had more of an interaction with that. I'm just like,
having
like,
the
having-
creator in there helping with how like the race should be going, or
Not so much
helping
racing-
the racers,
or like asking
at the
him,
academy.
like, maybe it'd be cool for him to ask, like, what was, like maybe he'll hear from the interviews, but just like him personally, just like, you did so well this in the game, and I'd love to know how that translated because hey, it helps him just make a better game in the future, right? That's like my one big, the only like not regret, but like I wish they would have had more of like more scenes of him interacting with the creator, like basically like with like, if you have Jan and Kazunori Yamauchi, like I don't know if in real life they did more of that racing or not, or like more of that interaction, and not just like, hi, I'm here in Japan and Nissan, I signed a contract and I'm gonna go party.
There should have been more Jama and Hansu. I really liked the father-son dynamic
Yeah,
and how made you cry man tears at the end of the movie when they.
I think towards the end when he shows up.
Yeah,
He
that
finally
was
showed
very,
up.
very
and it's
good
like, look,
scene.
man, I'm proud of you. Like you're actually doing the thing that I didn't think you could do, and holy crap, you're proving me you're an athlete. Like you're proving me that you're doing this. Like it was really cool. Like and he's all suited up, and he's just like, damn. Like and then he saw the helmet with his crest from his team,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, damn. He's like, yeah, I did this for you, Dad. Like
And then
Oh yeah, because he added the.
Yeah.
yeah, and then he breaks like the sentimental part where I say I still don't know shit about this racing.
yeah, I don't know about this racing game thing. And what's great is like his mom the whole time is just there like, oh honey, like all this stuff, like hey, like everything else, like I'm pretty sure. I wonder if Jerry Halliwell like ever had like experiences where there's like bad races, if she like maybe like tapped in a little bit of that as an actress, just like hey, like
Oh, like when
Yeah,
you
like
crash
when you
into
see
the-
real
Yeah,
crashes and
the
stuff.
like fear that she had.
Yeah, like that that felt real.
Was that
She's
him?
like, oh my god,
was that
baby,"
his
just
car?
like- yeah, and like Jimo Hunts was like, was that his car? Like just like in shock, and she's freaking out. Like that was a good moment. Like that's done really well, man. So kudos to that.
And real quick, because back to what you were when you were talking about the creator of Gran Turismo, one thing I just thought of now was I think they had a good opportunity, like the filmmakers and producers and everything, to instead of having an actor play the creator, have the actual creator make his cameo appearance by being the actual creator in the movie.
No, but
Because I feel like
he's too busy making an inferior game, according to you. Yeah.
true, he's got his hands busy, I guess, with not that great. No,
Oh my
Damn.
god.
I'm kidding.
Whatever, man.
you own his
Forza
game.
Horizon's not a real
You
sin.
own the
Wait till
game,
real
so
one.
No,
who's to
no,
lose
not
it now?
okay. Forza Horizon is clearly an arcade
Give him
game, which
money.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with.
but now the
But
new one coming out.
the Forza Motorsport part of the franchise, that is better.
All right.
Horizon is just like a fun arcade style kind of racing. Which
Everybody
I'm fine
likes
with. I'm fine with that.
Forza Horizon, not Zero
Forza,
Dawn.
Forza
Yeah.
Horizon, not.
Which may be
Yeah.
another thing, PlayStation property later on. But yeah, with that all being said, especially as we talk about based on the true story, the actual timeline of Jan Mardenborough's racing career is actually, it's like, it was kind of jumbled up a bit to make it more sense from a
Jumbled
movie
up
perspective.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
so
would say
Zach,
that.
give us that rundown. Like, let us know what actually happened.
So initially, the story takes place as far back as like 2011, actually.
Yep, we see that at the end of the movie. Like young Jan Mardenborough, like actually, like he looks hella young, but he's just there, like at GT Academy, like playing the game.
Well, I think he was He was not that young. He was
No, like,
probably
was he
16 or 18?
He was like 18 by that point because he's 31 now.
Yeah, he's 31 now, but he like,
But
but
he
like
look-
for an
he still
18-year-old,
looks
he
like
looked like he's
he's
14.
20.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
but now he still looks like he's like in his early.
12 years ago,
mid-20s.
yeah, he would have been old enough to drink. When the movie takes place, or when a movie should take place. So the movie takes place should be taking place in 2011, but it does take place in more modern, more modern times, because in the movie you see that they're using Gran Turismo 7 instead of the Gran Turismo that would have been out during that time, which I think was Gran Turismo 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think from looking up here on IMDb, Gran Turismo 5 for the PlayStation 3. But they used the 7 game. And then they go through the whole GT Academy that same year, I believe. Or no, sorry, this was in 2012 or 2013 is when that finally happens, right? Like he's going through the academy and he's competing in races and doing all that stuff. And then you have the crash at the Nürburgring, which was like a significant thing to him. This takes place in 2015. But the 24 Hours of Le Mans race that happens in the movie after Nürburgring actually takes place 2 years prior in 2013, not 2015.
Nice.
So
Swapped up the order.
yeah, so him and the team that he was racing for during that time, when they did actually podium at Le Mans, but it happened before the Nürburgring crash. So in the movie they did it that way, so that way it was like motivation,
Yeah.
inspiration for him to
Get the podium
to
and end the movie
Yeah.
with the podium.
They still podium third, right?
in the movie, yeah.
No, but in real life.
No, in real life, in 2015. Okay, so in 2015 you had the Nürburgring crash.
Yeah.
And then there was the Le Mans race later that year also. But they DNF'd.
They DNF'd at 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, they DNF'd in the 2015.
What about the other
season.
one?
In what lap though? Was it like close to the end?
This was maybe like 2/3 of the way through the race. Like 16, 18, 20 hour mark, I would say. So, but in the 2013, when in the actual, in real life, they did podium.
Cool.
So that
They
was
podium-
real.
But they podium at third.
Yeah, third. In the movie, it was third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when
So
they
that
podium
was so consistent.
initially, yes, it was the same podium position.
Yeah. So the Le Mans race at the end was supposed to be based off of that one, not the 2015 one, if we're going in chronological order. But of course, that wouldn't have made for a good ending, I guess.
No, it's like, hey, we DNF'd.
It's like all of this to show that sim racers can become real race car drivers, and then
hey, we DNF'd, but hey, we already did it first. But
and
like,
and they DNF in real life. They DNF'd on like mechanical issues.
yeah, it's
No,
like
like-
So it wasn't like they crashed. It was just like
no,
a
it's just
mechanical
like
thing.
That's
and the
right.
car broke down, which
Yeah.
is unfortunate.
and
That's the
you can
worst.
actually get an idea of what happened. There's a documentary on Amazon. It's like 5 or 6 episodes of the 2015 Le Mans race, and one of the episodes they focus on the team, on the Nissan LMP1 team that Yan was part of, and a couple other drivers, which I think were also sim racers, because the whole team was sim racers.
Oh, they were still all sim racers, just like in the movie.
Yeah, because they were still trying to prove that point of like, we can put people that play video games into an actual car and they can still perform well. It was still that same idea. So I think it was like the 3rd episode in that docuseries where they focus on the Nissan team and they show some of the backstory for the drivers, especially Jan, where they talk about the Nürburgring crash and they show like a clip or a picture from that. And then their experience throughout the whole race that year,
What's the
up
show?
until the point where they DNF'd.
What's the series called? Or show?
I always forget what it's called. I think it's on Prime Video, so if you just look up Le Mans,
Le Mans Amazon Prime for at least a little while. Yeah.
and that's spelled LE space MANS.
Le Mans.
Lee Man.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
Racing is everything. That's what it's called. Le Mans Racing is everything.
And then another subtitle is "And It's Raining."
That's
And it's raining.
Actually, I think it did race that year also.
It did
Rain.
rain. Yes.
I think it did rain in that
That's-
race.
Freaking hilarious. That's
And I think that's kind of it for the events. I mean, there are other goofs and continuity issues that I have, and filming issues, but all right, we'll
Like
get there
what?
towards the end.
Like
Filming
courses,
locations.
like filming locations.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's this course, but it's actually this other course. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if to cover that now or to cover it towards the end.
We didn't mention
mean-
that the real life Yan is a stunt driver
For the movie.
For this movie.
Yeah.
It's great. I saw it in the credits, and I was just like, "Oh, look at this!" Like, it's actually
Well,
like you actually see him in the credits as stunt drivers as credited as Jan Martinborough.
But I think towards the end where they
They show all the
like,
clips.
they describe it.
He's over that too, yeah.
Yeah, it legitimately shows him like, yeah, and Yan is also a stunt driver on this movie, and it was cool because like you see him next to Archie, and it was like hey, there's a cool moment of like, hey, this is me and I'm playing you. Holy crap! Like, I wonder, you know,
Okay, I'm playing you, and then like, oh,
I'm driving you,
Being
playing
me.
me. Yeah, that's, oh my god.
being myself, playing myself.
Yeah,
Or driving
he's a
myself.
dude driving a dude disguised as another dude. That's out of hand. Yeah, but like overall, like the other little things I know, like that gets a lot of pet peeves when people with racing movies is like when people are racing, they're really close. They like look to the side. It's like you have no time to go look to the side because you have to
or
pay
like
attention.
mouthing something
Yeah,
to
there's
the other
like,
person.
yeah, you're just like, you can't do that in a real race. Like,
No.
there's no way.
Or when they're having like conversations with each other, like to the car over. Not conversations, but they're like, "Come on, dude," you know, like whatever
Yeah, like
it
they'll
is.
yell, it's just like, yeah, like they're trying to hype themselves. Like, you can't do that in a real race. Like, like the moment you look away this way, like you're done.
Yeah.
Like you have to always look straight. Like you have to. It's like you the worst thing you have is like what you have a mirror and that's it. Like that's the reason why like a mirror or something like that exists because like you can't afford to look to the side, especially when you're going so fast and there's G-forces on you. Like looking to the side.
Yeah, like while you're turning with those huge G-forces, you can't be like,
Yeah,
you know,
like it's actual pain. Like,
looking over.
you're gonna like jack up your neck.
I think they had a montage where he was it him working out his neck?
He was.
I think that was
they
part
had
of
a
one of
montage.
those.
I think he was
Well,
stretching.
He was
I
stretching.
know
They
he was
showed
doing
him
a stretch.
on the treadmill.
Yeah, he always ran, which I was like, man, that's why they could call him Stretch. Like Maddie kept calling him Stretch, but like, yeah, he can run.
Also, because he's like
Well, because he's tall.
he's lanky.
Yeah, he's tall and lanky. He's like, you fit in a car? I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'll find out. And people are like, ooh, he just no answer. I was like, yeah, like he's not wrong, right? When they first introduced him, and he's just like, I guess I'm here to find out, right? Like none of us have been here. I don't know what they expect. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really cool. Like we guys said, the addition to like the sports movies, like the racing subgenre of feel good success story sports, successful sports movies. I it was cool, especially seeing it twice in 4DX. Like that was thank you National Cinema Day or International Cinema Day. Like that made that experience a fun and unique one. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
Any final last little thoughts other than Zach hating on GT Gran Turismo? Leave it open to the rest of the panel.
It was a good movie. Very solid movie. Surprising because I know in the past video game movies haven't been done too well. Even though this kind of isn't a video game movie, it's more of a true story movie based with a video game in it.
Based off of someone playing a video game.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would count it with those other
Like it's like
Failed
Tetris.
attempts.
It's like the movie Tetris.
Kind of.
Yeah.
sort of.
It's not a video game movie, but it's a movie about a video game.
Yeah.
It's almost like if somebody made a movie about someone being the best player at Street Fighter or something, instead of just making a movie about Street Fighter and the characters.
Like
Right.
if that character itself in Street Fighter was like the premise of the movie.
Right.
No, it's more like
Or like,
if,
a Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
movie.
yeah, or like someone who's really good at Street Fighter is like, I want to be the best at Street Fighter and
Yeah.
make all this money and they go through all this stuff, and then it turns out you have
Yeah.
to actually go into a cage match and fight.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of weird analogy you get from this, but surprisingly, it worked.
Yeah,
Of
agreed.
all of the things, it kind of worked.
Yeah. I like that. It's very
Good
very
visuals,
solid.
good audio,
Yep.
good
Yeah,
score
good
and
sound
music.
mixing, I would say so. They did a good job.
Just a very solid
Yeah,
movie.
the cast, everybody did their jobs that they're supposed to. Nobody had any like glaringly like, oh, what's this person doing here? Or like that line
Yeah.
came off really bad. Like everybody just did what they needed to do.
I think maybe Anthony mentioned it, but I think David Harbour was actually towards the middle and end. I thought he was like one of the better parts of the movie.
Yeah.
He really stood out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like he's using his like surrogate father figure status from his other roles, like, and really bringing it home. Like all the stuff, like he's on the radio and he's in like actually in the pit while they're racing at Le Mans. Like all that stuff there was really, really, really well done. And it's just probably just him like yelling into a microphone, but it's just like him yelling into a mic. It's really cool. With that, guys. Oh, Zach,
Well, because I wanted to circle back to like the other things that I
go for it. Yeah, go.
because I do still think that this movie is overall like it's solid, of course.
Yeah.
But along with the issues that I have with the chronology of
You're the expert. You're the expert. Take it away.
The one thing that kind of distracted me a little bit, but not as much as the order of events, are some of the filming locations, because I watch a lot of racing, whether it's Formula One or maybe even some other stuff, endurance, NASCAR, whatever. Because this happened to me when I was watching
God, you
Ford
watch
versus
NASCAR?
Ferrari.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yes.
I can't.
I grew up on NASCAR. Like, what
We
do?
know NASCAR. All right.
Because one thing with Ford versus Ferrari is that I noticed a couple of moments where they would say they're at one track, but then they're actually filming somewhere else. Because I know these tracks like the back of my hand. I grew up playing the games and watching in real life and
Sound
stuff.
like the guy in the movie.
Yeah, you sound like in the trailer. I know this track. I've raced here 1,000 times.
Like the back of
them on 1,000 times. You're like, all right, buddy.
So it's like, for example, Ford vs Ferrari had like they were in Daytona, but it was actually like the racetrack in California. But in this movie, they kind of did the same thing where they pretty much filmed the majority of the movie at the Hungaroring, where F1 races in Budapest, Hungary. Even though they claimed, or in the movie they say that it's Silverstone, which is a completely different track. Different monster of a track. They try to do, or they try to do a good job of making it seem like it's not Hungary. But if you watch F1, then you know it's not Silverstone. And then a couple other things, a couple other places too that they said it was one track, but it was actually filmed on another track, which is kind of weird because they also went to the track and actually filmed there. One of the races was at Hockenheim, which is in Germany, another F1 circuit. But they're showing, while they have the name Hockenheim ring on the screen, the shot shows Catalonia in Spain.
Huh.
I remember throughout
kind
the
of a
movie,
weird
you
goof.
were
That's
telling
actually
me, you're
funny.
like, wait, that's
Yeah,
not
that's
that's not that
right.
track.
Because I mean, you see like the logo for the Catalonia track, which is another F1 track, in the same shot that they say Hockenheim, Germany, which is weird. And then they go back to Spain and actually say, okay, this is Catalonia, and then they actually show the track and stuff. The other one is I think Le Mans. Le Mans, again, they use Hungary, the track in Hungary, as the track for Le Mans, but they actually do use some parts of the actual track in some shots. Like there's a shot where they show the cars going towards like turn 1 in a few shots, either from the back or from the front, and it's the actual track, or at least maybe like a
render of it.
like a CG render of it. But it's the actual track, where in other cases, like aerial shots, they show like the final 2 corners of Hungary as the last couple corners of Le Mans, which is not the case.
Maybe it was like a budget saving thing, or like obviously they probably couldn't go to all these tracks, but
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like for a movie like this, you're kind of, if you can't film in these locations, or if it's out of your budget to be traveling and taking all the equipment and paying all these people to do this, to go to like, you know, the 8 different tracks they went to in this movie, your budget's going to be, your expenses are going to be in the probably $200 million
and like we mentioned before, they kept it under 60 or at 60.
which I feel like is pretty small for a movie of of
The
this.
size.
Yeah,
this
it
caliber.
looks really nice, and
I mean, I would have expected the movie to be at least 150 million.
I don't
budget.
know.
Maybe like 100?
Yeah, maybe 100. Maybe 100.
Yeah, you'd think it's like, oh, you're gonna do 100 because of this so much, like all the racing,
Like,
and all this
especially
stuff.
all the
Yeah.
CGI on the
Yeah.
racing.
all the like the permissions that they have to get to in order to film it. I'm sure it costs thousands of dollars per day, probably,
For sure.
to film in these places.
With all the crew and everything.
And they're filming
Just the
for,
cameras
for
alone.
like weeks at a time. Yeah. But yeah, just some of those locations, those filming locations. Austria, I think, was one of the only actual tracks they filmed at, aside from Spain. Actually, just Spain, because Hungary is still Silverstone technically,
True.
and Le Mans is also Hungary, but also actual Le Mans, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, everything. Me, because I watch a lot of racing, that just kind of distracted me a little bit. But as a casual moviegoer, if you know nothing about racing, you're not going to know. Unless you're like, hey, why does that track look like the other track?
They also went to the Dubai track.
Dubai, that was real too. Okay, yeah, so that was the fourth track, I would say. That was the actual track for sure.
Yeah, I remember that one popping up at one point.
Because I play a lot of that on Real Racing 3.
Oh.
It's like a real race. Yeah, it's like I told you, the dude knows his stuff. Very, very cool.
A lot of stuff. That's 20 years of experience right here.
Oh.
And you've been alive for 20 of those years. 21 of those. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys. So with that,
So the film, just real quick, right before
go ahead.
we head out.
Yeah.
The filming locations confirmed is pretty much Dubai, Hungary,
There it is.
and then
Austria for sure.
Nürburgring in Germany.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Nürburgring. Oh yeah, Nürburgring. Oh yeah, you need to film on that actual track because I feel like recreating that.
Those
on
are the
CG is
three-
kinda weird.
Yeah, those are the 3 filming locations on IMDb. So
So not even
Oh,
Austria.
that's it. Not even.
I
Yeah.
didn't even mention Austria, which was obvious. They were obviously there, but
yeah, but it just shows those 3.
and Nürburgring is a monster.
Yeah.
I still have to find a documentary for UX, or at least a video about it.
Of just
Yeah,
like,
Nürburgring is a monster of a track.
of that actual that what is it? Oh, they call it the Luft. He said in the movie, he's like, oh, it's the Luft. It's like the take. Basically, like it's an air. It's like a takeoff zone. I forgot the name of it in German, but it's like Luft
Yeah.
means air. It's just like, yeah, because you go airborne. Like if you go at it too fast, which is really cool. He's like, yeah, I'm going. Wait, what? Like that scene was shot really well. It's like, huh? Like
Yeah, that was really cool.
That scene.
I've seen the footage of the actual crash.
Comparing it, I think Zach
I
sent
think
it to
I
us.
sent this. Yeah, I mean, they did a good job at
Recreating.
that.
Yeah.
and, like the look of it, because when you look at the actual footage of it, which you can find it somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure,
Mhm.
it's like for like. I mean, it's also scary too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be terrifying.
Yeah, like it's actually like the dude. Yeah, like and it's weird because at first I saw it in slow motion, like, oh, that doesn't look so bad, and then full screen, oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Like this is really bad.
And
Yeah,
then,
because that section of the track is, I mean, you're going 130, 140 plus probably.
And also, like they did where while he's in the car, while it's obviously like starting to flip, like him like just letting go of the steering wheel and like holding
just-
himself.
Well, that's like a safety thing.
That's
Like,
a
No,
safety
for sure,
thing.
yeah.
you don't
that's
want
what
to do
you're
this and
supposed to
then
No, obviously,
break
and
yeah,
break
you
your
break
hand.
your wrists and everything. You don't want to hit the Doctor Strange, like you break all your hands and
No,
metatarsals and everything.
But I'm saying like it's cool that they took the time to like show that and like keep it
Yeah.
authentic. I guess.
Even though there was at one point where you see him like go to grab the wheel, like, no, dude, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
It's like, don't. Yeah.
Probably like to keep himself from like doing
I
that.
guess,
and
yeah.
Probably for that, which I get, but
But yeah, but you're in a racing machine like that. You're gonna be harnessed up
Yeah.
anyways.
But then again, we're seeing it in like super slow motion in the movie,
yeah.
where when that's happening in real life, it's like milliseconds of like.
Well, then they show when it actually hits the side of the fence, and then just that's in real
Yeah, it
time.
just-
Like, yeah, that's just
Yeah.
like that's real. Like, holy crap! But that's a good. Fun thing about the movie being set in 2022, 2023 is like, hey, safety stuff is really up there. Like the roll cages and everything are legit. So,
Yeah.
no, it's pretty dope. Yeah, really excited to have seen the movie. if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, we went through some spoilers, but I think it's still worth watching. Like, it's a feel good sport. Like I said before, it's feel good sports movie that hits all the right notes. Takes all the turns the right way. I'm gonna keep going with these puns until I drive.
Definitely worth watching in the theater on a big screen if you can.
Yeah, the sound's really good. Like Danny said, it's really, really good.
And I was really surprised by like the audience reactions too, because
we watched it in 40X. People were clapping.
Well,
no,
when
Dolby
we saw it
too.
in Dolby,
we saw it in Dolby.
A lot of cheering.
Really?
Like,
I didn't get that in my Dolby
screening. Yeah,
We got a lot of cheering.
we didn't mention it before, but when we saw it in Dolby, we saw it 2 weeks before the actual release. We saw like a fan screening, and it was pretty much packed. I'd say.
yeah, it was nearly. Packed.
And throughout the whole movie, there was like
People were into it.
laughing,
Which I'm kind of surprised by, because I mean, I think racing movies as a movie genre is not. I mean, it's often overlooked.
It's usually super serious. Like when you watch Rush, like that movie's like intense, hella intense. But then like you watch this one, like again, like all the
but
ups
this one
and
gives
downs,
you all the
like,
different emotions, I
Yeah,
guess,
dude.
and the like you said, ups and downs, and at the very end, I think once he got the podium in Le Mans, like everyone was clapping.
twists and turns.
I was like,
Like, everyone was actually cheering like
Yeah.
as if they were watching the
They
race.
clapped,
Yeah.
like they clapped and cheered when he
got the right license and he got fourth.
when he got the license, when he got out of the academy,
yeah.
and when he kissed his girlfriend at the club.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
right.
We're clapping at that.
We saw
They're
it
like,
in Dolby. Everyone was like,
yeah!
yeah, finally, like
This is my boy.
But no one clapped when we saw it in 4DX in that part. It's like no one clapped.
No one clapped when he.
Yeah, like we had a good audience for Dolby, and
They were too
that
busy
definitely
going. Like they were
definitely elevated the
jamming to the
experience.
music. I wish it was a Japanese version,
I really, that would have been amazing.
but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Oh man. All right. That was it's a really fun watch, man. I just it's like if we were waiting for it to watch it on demand, just watch it in the theater. It's a fun experience, but then also if it finally does get to it, I think it'll be a fun watch at home as well.
Yeah, it'll probably be too loud for you to crank up the volume at home.
Not
Wake
if
up
you
your
have some
neighbors.
fancy Bluetooth speakers to connect to your system. Ooh, I'm sorry, headphones? Yeah, Bluetooth headphones.
I've got my
Headphones.
AirPods Maxes.
Headphones in your
Cancellations I
house?
need.
Yeah,
Don't do
you can
that.
be like Steve Carell in that one movie, Dinner for Schmucks. I think
Yeah,
it was where
Don't do
he
that.
wears headphones the whole time. It's hilarious. That's freaking great. All right, so with that, that kind of concludes really like all of our big summer, kind of our summer watch list really of everything we wanted to see. So we hit the bottom of the popcorn bag for the summer. So next time we're gonna do just a quick overview of just kind of everything we saw, like our favorites, our not so favorites. And kind of
Some
really,
that we didn't review.
some we didn't get around to watching that that we all got to watch individually, but maybe we get to have a full episode on. So
Because there's some that we all
Great.
didn't see together.
Yep.
'Cause, like I saw some horror movies. Anthony saw some action movies that we
It's
all
a
got
horror
to.
movie, The Meg 2.
If you call that a horror
I don't know if
movie.
we officially had we didn't have a Ninja Turtles episode.
No, yeah. So
we have some fun ones to talk about for next time. So
that'll be a big recap. So
yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, we promise it won't be too long of a recap, but it will be a recap nonetheless.
It was a big summer for movies.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
I think for
Compared to like the last.
It'll be as long as Oppenheimer.
like for a good like June and July, we were at the movie theater every Friday for sure.
every
Like,
week we were in the
pretty
theater.
much, yeah.
like, for a new
Multiple
release.
Yeah,
No, for sure, but like
at least twice, or at least once a week, sometimes twice.
Got our
we-
money's worth.
We put that A-list to use.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
for
yeah.
damn sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So with that, everybody, do us a big solid favor if you're just listening up to us and haven't hit subscribed or left a review on your podcast platform of choice. Please do us a big favor. Go ahead and let us know what you think. We'd love to get that feedback and input from you all listening. Also, you can catch us on Instagram, Threads, and the platform formerly known as Twitter.
YouTube.
And on YouTube. So look us up on Popcorn Watchlist. Give us a like and subscribe for all your latest fun ramblings and analysis on some of our favorites in TV and film. With that, everybody, we thank you once again for listening in, and we will catch you guys next time on the Fast Lane.
Later.
See you guys.
So.